All right, welcome back to another episode of Market International. Today we're here with Patrick Brussel. He is the president of Keller Williams Young Professionals in the Boston metro area. Patrick, how long have you been in real estate?
Since January 15th of 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
So that was back when the market was kind of going down and crashing a little bit? Or?
Yeah, I had no idea about what any of that was. I literally, I walked across the stage at graduation in college in 2007. I was cleaning toilets for a living at the North Shore Music Theater and playing music, by night.
Whoa.
And my mom said, around December, you got to get a real job. I started selling knives for Cutco. That lasted about a month, and then for some reason she thought real estate was good enough when I landed a real estate gig. So here we are.
And what company did you start with?
I started with a small company out of Allston, which is just a neighborhood in Boston, and I moved to Keller Williams in August of 2014.
Oh, great. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So you're currently the president of the Keller Williams Young Professionals here in Boston. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Young Professionals is all about and your role as president?
I love this topic. So let's start with what KWYP is, right? So that's a membership organization. It stands for Keller Williams Young Professionals, and it's really it's a division of Keller Williams, right? And the purpose of it is to essentially foster the future leadership of the company to carry on the culture. Sounds great. There's two pillars within that. One is leadership and one is wealth building. So really everything that they do is centered around those two activities. Locally, our mission is to build a community of leaders that through collaboration and support. What I love about KWYP is this industry in general, I think, and Keller Williams is a little bit different from that, and you're starting to see signs of brokerages acting a little bit different. But in general, everyone is so closed on everything. They don't want to share who their plumber is. They don't want to share how they value property. They don't want to share their photographer. It's just, and I get it, right? You're competing against people, but right. Keller Williams Young Professionals, right now there's about 1,000 members across North America, including Canada. And these people go out of their way you post something in the members only Facebook group, and it doesn't matter how seemingly dumb or new the question might be, there's going to be 10 responses with 10 different angles of how to approach something, all coming from contribution, wanting that person to get better, knowing that as we share our experiences, we get better as well too. It's a phenomenal organization in that regard. You're masterminding with really some of the best people that are 40 and under across the country in real estate. It's phenomenal. In addition to that, I think there's a lot of people that say, all right, so it's a membership organization. What does that mean? It costs a little bit of money to join, right? There's a yearly or monthly fee involved. And so people say, all right, well, what's the return on investment there, right? They want to know, if I'm spending $1, I better get $2 back. There's people locally that have probably done 8 to 10 transactions in the last 2 years that they can trace back to a KWYP relationship. Uh-huh. Even if you're not doing that, to me it's like, this business is a relationship-based business. What's the value of being connected with, people in Chicago, Dallas, Miami, LA, Boise, Idaho? I couldn't tell you. Like either you get it or you don't.
Right.
Either you value the fact that you can connect on a deeper level with these people or you don't.
Right.
So it's just an amazing
So it's a big network and of people, which is awesome because that way you guys can collab ideas and also use other people's resources. But what I like about it is that you know someone in Chicago and they have a client, they have their job, they're moving to Boston. Well, who do they know in Boston? They know Pat because he's part of the Young Professional, so it's a network. Now they refer that business to Pat, and they both win.
Totally, and I would say that it's a pretty tight-knit group in the sense that most people look within KW. If you're a member of KWYP, you probably look there first for help.
Right.
Yes, sometimes if I'm going to place a referral in the middle of Utah, we might not have anyone that's there. Mm-hmm. But most likely, if there's not someone with a boot on the ground there, someone from Houston will know someone there too. Yeah. And at least there's a trustedness there between the experiences we've shared that I usually know the client's going to be in good hands, especially after I interview that person.
Wow. like New York City, I'm sure it's pretty competitive being a real estate broker here in Boston.
Yeah.
Can you share some insight on how you separate yourself from the pack and creative ways you do to market yourself and whatnot?
That's such a loaded question.
Okay.
And I like it. So I think Keller Williams as a company has a little bit of a different approach to marketing. We live in a world, and especially an industry that promotes marketing, right? Like on TV, it's marketing. In the newspaper, it's marketing. On social media, it's marketing.
Right.
And so a lot of people, I think, turn to marketing first from a business perspective. And that can be okay, but you have to have a lot of money behind you to do that.
Sure.
The model that we're sort of taught within KW is to be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. And so what does that mean, right? For me, it means that you're having conversations and you're meeting people out in the world, not necessarily about real estate, but they're usually purposeful conversations. And a lot of the times real estate is going to come up.
Right.
Because people live places. And whether it's, a complaint about their actual property that they live in, a complaint about their neighborhood, something they love about their neighborhood, that stuff comes up. And so to me, it's how many times can you talk to someone and touch someone, whether that's in person, over the phone, on text message, email, social media, messenger, and discuss essentially real estate with them. I would say that for me, there's no one that I'm connected with in this world that doesn't know I do real estate.
Right.
I mean, it would be, I'd be shocked if there was someone that I was friends with on a social media thing, and I probably have 3,800 on Facebook. I haven't even maxed that out.
Right.
They all know I do real estate. So to me, it's a matter of, and then it's, what's the content you're providing to those people too when you're on social? I think there's a lot of times in this industry where people think they should be promoting their open house or their listing or, hey, I closed this property. And I get that there's a time and a place to put that stuff out there,
right.
But in general, you don't care about my open house.
Right.
You probably, even if I'm like, hey, I closed this great deal, you might be like, hey, that's great, Patrick. You're probably not going to comment on it. Maybe you click a like.
Right.
So in general, I look at that as sort of trash content, but there's so many real estate people that think that's what they should be putting out there. Yeah. I look at it as, I'm not a salesperson. I educate people on the process of buying real estate. So most of my content is based around educating on the process, whether that is what's a radon test and how does it, what's it cost and how do you do that and what's the importance of it? Why would I do it? Why would I not do it? To, hey, how much money should I put down on this offer? And it's those types of things that people, if they're even remotely interested in the buy or sell of real estate, they probably will find some value out of that.
Sure.
So I approach marketing through just personal branding, online, in person, and really the personal branding is the educating. It's not the, hey, look at this beautiful home I sold.
Right.
And yes, there's times where that stuff is appropriate. And yes, if you go back through and look at my social content, there's that stuff on there. But I think it's few and far between. I would say if there's a ratio, it's maybe 15 to 1, 20 to 1, 10 to 1, I don't know. So to me, that's the first step in marketing, is building your personal brand, and that's free. I think a lot of people think it's creating a logo and notepads and business cards.
Right.
Man, I don't listen, I have business cards, I couldn't tell you where they are. It's just, I don't think that that's needed necessarily in today's society. Yeah, I have some in the car, right?
Right.
If someone really wants a business card, I'll give them a business card. That's
Right.
fine. And it's important to have that stuff look good. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're leading with marketing, meaning you're leading with money, because that's what marketing is, it costs money,
right.
You can go out of business really quick. Let's just think about this. If you commit to a direct mail campaign, and that's a little bit old school, but at the same time, I think a lot of people like that idea, right?
Right.
You're talking about to send out 1,000 pieces of mail. Let's just say it's 80 cents, right? So $800 right there. You have to commit to that for 18 months to get a return. So right there, you're talking about what, $16,000 or so, just before you even might see a return. And there's a lot of people that start it, they don't see a return in 3 months, they stop it, they blew $2,200.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and so you really have to understand what you're getting into with the marketing. And also, I would say that the marketing is one thing, but if I'm sending out the direct mail, I need to figure out how I can meet those people too. I should be going to door knocking. You know, maybe I'm bringing a coupon for junk removal or something with me. But I should be going to meeting them or creating events where I can meet them. Just doing the mailing itself isn't worth it anymore. And it's the same with online stuff. Yes, you can shoot stuff off online, and essentially you're doing an online version of mailers, right?
Right.
But still, you don't know me from a hole in the wall. You see my Facebook ad 20 times. How do I convert you into a client? There's a real art to doing that.
Uh-huh.
You know, what am I offering that Brian's going to actually click on and give me his information?
Right.
So I just think people can start with the people they already know and really just build those relationships before they go, okay, now I'm going to get into some creative marketing thing. Because I don't necessarily think that there is any new techniques out there to marketing to be done. I don't think there's someone who's, you know, sitting here 2 miles away going, oh, well, they haven't seen this before. Yeah, no, we see flyers, dude.
Right.
Okay, yours is a different color. I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, you did a really,
right.
That's great. So it's awesome too how you said that you like to provide education as a value add content, because I think that's huge too.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are just, blasting out, like, it kind of looks spammy too. You're constantly putting out the open house or this and that, and it's cool to try to get people in, but they're just, like you're saying, you're kind of sidestepping it. With you and some other people with the education-based content, they're actually like interested. Wow, this is how you apply for a mortgage. Oh, this is what you have to do for this, this, and this. And then they're like, you hook them and they get interested. And you're like, wow, the whole process of buying a house kind of seems complicated, but when you break it down, it really isn't that long. So,
and back to the content for a second. I think of it this way too, right? Like, I enjoy consuming content. I'm an older millennial, but I enjoy consuming content. If I'm out there and I'm following a bakery, right, and they're just posting a picture of the loaf of French bread they made, yeah, they're probably going to sucker me in to buy one of those eventually when I pass by. But I would actually be more interested in the video of them opening up the shop at 4:30 in the morning and how they actually knead the dough and prepare it to go into the oven. Because that stuff is, I don't know. I think people like to learn stuff as well too.
Yeah.
Yes, I know if I go to the bakery, they're going to have a nice loaf of bread. But what's behind that?
Yeah, for sure. No, totally. So Patrick, in your opinion, what is the hottest neighborhood in Boston right now for an investor to come in and put their money to work?
That's another loaded question. And this is probably the way my brain works versus anything. So first and foremost, I think that there's a couple different markets at play here, right? So there's Boston itself, and I will stick my answer to that.
Okay.
But for most people that aren't, turnkey international investors, when they start purchasing real estate in Boston as an investment tool, they probably quickly get used to the idea of Boston expanding to outside the city limits. And really, you have people that are investing from Newburyport, which is, 30 miles north, to, Braintree out to Marlborough. And so you're talking about, is that a 40-mile radius from the city of Boston, something in that regards? Yeah. And that's a real thing. So, we'll focus on Boston, but there is a larger market at play there.
Sure.
The other thing is, within Boston, you have different market segments of investors. You have the real estate investment trust and, huge corporate money that's coming in, and they're probably buying up land in the seaport to build a 40-story, well, maybe not 40, but 20-story, pharmaceutical lab space or office building. You have international money that's coming in that wants a turnkey condo that they can set and forget it, they don't have to think about. You have the local investors that are looking to buy 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 unit style buildings that are buying whole. So there's a lot of different even investment markets within the city as well too, based on what someone's looking for and what they want out of it. And then lastly, the market's based on, again, what I just said, but what they want out of it. Do they want something where I'm getting a 10% return right off the bat? Or do they just want to keep their money safe and that they can look up 25 years from now and say, okay, cool, I made a little bit of money on, the tenant paying down whatever part of the mortgage was, but my $250,000 is still there. I'm going to sell it and I'm going to use it now. So there's a broad market around here. I think in general, if you're someone that says, okay, I want to be making a $500,000 to $1 million purchase in the city of Boston, if you're looking for a turnkey, one-off type of condo where you're going to rent to, higher-end professionals, you're probably looking in the core of the city, from the Fenway to the Back Bay, South End, downtown, and the rates of return on that are probably in the 3.5%, 4%. Maybe you're eking up to 5%.
It's kind of like New York City, the same thing.
Yeah.
Cap rates are really low
but it's the safest bet you could possibly make. You're sitting in the middle of this vibrant city on the east coast of the United States, where there's multiple industries that are going to keep it afloat, at least knock on wood. If you're an investor that's looking for, where can I buy a 3-family? Where can I buy a 4-unit, a 5-unit? And I want to buy and hold. Maybe I'm fixing it up, but I'm still renting it out, and it's a little bit of a longer-term play. You're probably looking in parts of East Boston, even though that's becoming really pretty commoditized at this point. Parts of Dorchester, and I'm talking about further south in Dorchester, because recently the Polish Triangle in Savin Hill has just been off the charts. Parts of Roxbury even. And these are places where, 10 years ago, people didn't think about investing there other than those that lived right in that community. And now there's outside money flooding in everywhere because, we're in a shortage of both housing stock and land.
Oh, wow.
So, it's in New York, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you guys are at least smart enough to say, okay, well, we're going to build up. We go, well, here's a prime piece of property next to a subway station, 6 stories, that's it.
Yeah, I noticed that around here. You guys don't really have that tall of skyscrapers.
No.
It's everything's very low.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a lot of city enforcement and code and whatnot?
I think that the city has been a lot, I'm going to say better, and some people will disagree with this, but I think that they've been much more friendly to development recently because they looked at it probably 5-6 years ago and said, we need another 50,000 units just to keep up with demand.
Right.
We're not even close to hitting that. But the city, for the most part, I think is pretty developer friendly at this point. It's the neighborhood groups, and I get it, but they're concerned about everything from the traffic created by new development to the shadows the building is going to create.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I kid you not.
Parking's probably somewhere in the mix too. Or?
Absolutely, and I think you have 2 schools of thought where you have people that are saying, okay, well, the future is carless. Man, I don't know when that future is getting here, but it ain't here.
No, it's not.
and listen, you can go on any news site and read about the woes that the MBTA has, and that's our public transportation system here. So to say that we're going to build a 400-unit building without parking because people are going to rely on the train, that ain't going to fly.
No.
So the city has been better about development. I think it's the neighbors that they think that there's some charm in the low rise of the city of Boston. And to some degree, I think that there is. But we as a region are going to have to say, okay, well, if we want to keep it that low and essentially stifle the density, are we comfortable with the fact that, we continue to be in the 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 4th place of expensive places to live in the United States?
Yeah, for sure.
So, hey, if no one cares about that, cool, let's keep it the way it is. But I think there's enough people out there that go, this is ridiculous.
Right.
That something has to give, and to me, it's density. So.
Wow. So what are some advantages of investing in the greater Boston area?
So this one is simpler to me. So we have, the diversity of industry is amazing. Higher education, and whatever you think about that, it's an industry.
Right.
The healthcare, life sciences, biotech, traditional finance, Department of Defense contractors, engineering firms, robotic firms. The diversity of industry here with quality jobs is off the charts, to the point where I say this, and I'm not an economist here, but I almost think that, okay, let's say that the healthcare industry was decimated tomorrow. Boston would still probably be okay despite having some of the top hospitals in the nation,
Right.
just because of diversity of the industry here. In addition to that, you look at the resources we have. You know, we're right on the water. Some of the most beautiful parks and green space,
Absolutely.
you know, that an urban area has.
Gorgeous here.
The airport is in the city. It's not 40 miles away.
Right, right.
You're about 3 hours to some of the most prime skiing and hiking up in New Hampshire. An hour and a half, 2 hours to the Cape, some amazing beaches nearby.
Right.
It's just, you know, world-class art, world-class music.
Absolutely.
And I don't say that being a Boston homer. I mean,
Yeah.
come here, listen to the Boston Symphony, go to the MFA, go to the ICA.
Absolutely.
Like, that stuff's real. So I think to me, that keeps Boston as sort of this place where people go, wow, I want to be there. Like, you know, do you want to invest in, like, you know, the city that has the 10th ranked universities or the first? Like,
Right, yeah.
I think for most people, as they're looking at it from a world perspective, go, well, I'd rather be the first.
Yeah. I was funny, I actually read recently that Boston has the most college university in one area than anywhere else in the world.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I tried to find the answer a couple of years ago about how many are within the city limits.
Right.
I couldn't even actually find it online. I figured I could Wikipedia that shit. No.
Just looking on the map, it's like college, university, college, university. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's crazy.
And you have them extending out 20, 30 miles from here where you have towns with a commuter rail to the university. And so talk about a place to invest where, you know, maybe your 200,000 can pay for 50% of the investment rather than 25%,
Right.
you know, and you're still getting, you know, probably better rates of return. It's a little bit further out, but you still have the transportation, you still have the college universities. It's a great area.
Yeah. So tell us something interesting about this area that maybe a lot of outsiders wouldn't know, but only like Boston locals might know about. Doesn't have to be real estate.
No. Okay, so I would say, so they say not to talk politics, right?
Yeah.
I think Boston is viewed as this bastion of like liberalism, and I think in a lot of regards there is that, you know, socially. But at the same time, there's a big conservative underbelly,
Right.
where, you know, it was only about, you know, 10 years ago that you could start buying liquor on Sundays.
Uh-huh.
I mean, last call is 1 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, but except for the casino, you know, it's like bars close at 2.
Mhm.
We don't really have a, you know, all night entertainment living thing. And I think that's, to me, that's another area where we could push.
Mhm.
And, you know, are you or aren't you a world-class city? Do you have the ability for someone to be up for 24 hours and enjoy themselves?
Right, right.
And that doesn't necessarily make a world-class city, but I think that a lot of people would say, hey, come on, what's going on here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so maybe that's anything else. You gotta see the Harbor Islands if you're here. People see it on a map. I think they can see them out there. You gotta go and visit them
Are
too.
there ferries that go from here?
There is, in the good weather, in the summertime, in the spring, some of the fall, there's ferries. It's an amazing trip. It's an incredible perspective. You feel like you're a world away, and you're a half-hour boat ride.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Awesome. Patrick, thank you so much for this. You're
Brian, thank you.
a wealth of knowledge. That was a great interview, and
Check this guy out. He's
Yeah.
awesome. He put this together.
yeah. So great, thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, if you like the interview, go check out the interview I did with Alessandro in Italy. He shows me a beautiful flat there, and you're gonna really love it. Check it out. See you there.